Hi again, Corey. This is our third part, our final part of our videos on finding slope of a line, writing an equation of a line, and the information that we're looking at for the upcoming test that you have. So let's go ahead and look at the first equation. Very similar to what we did in part 2. Write an equation of a line parallel to y equals 2x plus 3 that goes through the point -4, 5. Okay, you might be thinking, well, there's no slope here and I don't have 2 points to give me the slope. Well, that's what the parallel part tells us. At one point I had told you to research that and find out what do parallel lines and perpendicular lines have that deals with their slope. Why is that important? Well, what's important is slopes of parallel lines are the same. Let me just do a little drawing here and then I'll erase that so we have room to do our problem. If this is my x and y axis, okay, and I have two lines, let's say I have a line here and I have a line here, their slopes have to be the same to be parallel so that they never intersect. They have to be identical. So with that, the equation y equals mx plus b tells me that 2 is the slope of the line that the line we want is parallel to. Let me grab my eraser. So we know to start off just by being told we have parallel lines and given the equation, we know that this right here is my slope. Important to know. Then I'm going to come to this point just like I've done in the past. I only have 1 point. I have an x and a y. So let me go ahead and label those x1 and y1. So we are going to go ahead and start with the point slope form. So y minus y1. When you do this enough, you'll start to memorize the equations. Make sure you have them written down. You don't have to memorize them, but when you've done them as much as I have, you'll get to the point where you memorize them. So y minus y1 is 5. So y minus 5 equals slope is 2 and x minus a -4. I can go ahead and make that plus a positive, and really it's in point slope form. But I do, since it doesn't specify, I'm going to go ahead and make it slope intercept form as well. And you'll notice the slope of this line here that we were given and the slope of the line that we're working with now will have the same number in front of the x. So here, let me simplify this to y minus 5 equals 2 times x plus 4. Get rid of all that plus a positive in. So we get those out of the way. So again, I'm going to bring this equation just like I did before so I have room to work. Y minus 5 equals same equation, 2 times x plus 4. I need to get rid of the parentheses first. So let me get those out of the way. I will do the distributive property. 2x plus 8. Now I need the y by itself. To do that I have to add a 5 to this side, so I have to add a 5 to this side. This cancels, y is by itself. I have 2x plus 13. If you look at this and the line we were given, they both have a slope of 2, which is what we want. They have a different y-intercept. This one would cross the y-axis at 3, and this one would be up higher, and it would cross the y-axis at 13. Now, very similar with perpendicular as long as you know what perpendicular slopes mean. Parallel slopes are the same. Perpendicular slopes are negative reciprocals of each other. If you remember when you worked with dividing fractions, you had to take the reciprocal, which means flip the fraction upside down. Same thing here. We look at our equation of the line, we say, okay, I need to flip that upside down and make it the opposite sign, because they are negative reciprocals of each other. So the slope of the line that I want is going to have to be m equals positive 2. Okay, so that's the slope I'm going to use. Now, we looked at a drawing with parallel lines. Let me just do a little sketch here. If this is my axis, perpendicular lines mean they cross, the lines cross at a right angle. So if this is one line, whoops, I should have done that in another color so that, let me just go over it in black. If that's one line, the other line has to be perpendicular. They have to cross at a right angle. So that's why their slopes have to be a negative reciprocal of each other so that they form that right angle. So now let's go ahead and label our point we've been given, just like I've done with the others. I'm going to make this, we only have one point, x1 and y1, and we'll start with point slope form. So I have y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. My y1 is a 6, so y minus 6 equals, the slope is 2, x minus a negative 1. I can make this plus a positive and simplify. Y minus 6 equals 2 times x plus 1. So this is my equation in point slope form. I'm going to do that extra step just like I did up here, and I'm going to make that slope intercept form. So let me rewrite the same equation up here. Y minus 6 equals 2 times x plus 1. I have to get rid of the parentheses first using the distributive property. So I bring down my y minus 6. That gives me 2x plus 2. Now I need to move the 6 to the other side because in slope-intercept form we want y by itself. I add 6 to this side, so I have to add 6 over here. This cancels, and y equals 2x plus 8. So there's my equation in slope-intercept form. So I hope that helps you to be more successful on your test and understand slope with finding the slope, writing an equation of the line, and equations that deal with parallel and perpendicular.